What's going on, guys? It's your boy Wayne the Train, and today I got a different type of video for you guys. I think it's gonna be really interesting. I got an InBody scan, so I know my body fat and I know how much muscle I have. I got it at 2 different times. I'm gonna talk about it in this video. I think it'll give you guys a really interesting perspective. I've been doing this 24 since I was 14. I've been doing this like really hard, you know, without nonstop since I was 19. So it's about 5 years in, and it's just a good lesson. There's lots of things to pick up. So if you're interested, stay tuned, and we'll get into it. Hey guys, I'm gonna throw this in there real fast. You know, being a lifter, you transform a lot. Stay to the end of this video, and you get to see my transformation. You know, at least from when I started around 2015 to a couple weeks ago. So stay till the end. You get to see why I started in 2015 to where I am now. So if you're still here, you're into it, and I'm into you guys. So let's just start off with, I got 2 scans. I got one in January of this year and one yesterday. So it's April 13th. So the one in January, you know, I'm 5'10", 24, and I weighed 199 pounds, 199.6. My lean body mass was 181 pounds, and I had about 132.5 pounds of water and 18.6 pounds of body fat. That was pretty good, I guess. My body fat was 9.4%. My BMI was 28, but that's always irrelevant, like, you know, when you're weightlifting, because your BMI is your body mass index. It gets thrown off when you have more muscle mass, because muscle is denser than fat. So it's not the most accurate, but hey, keep an eye on it, because the higher it is, the more you're in that morbid obesity zone, and you're more at risk of health, cardiovascular disease. So be mindful. And yeah, that's all that matters. 199 pounds, 181 pounds of muscle, 18 pounds of fat, 9% body fat. Now, when I got it yesterday, I was 204.7 pounds. So I had that written down, 5.1 pounds in 3 months. I tried to do them 90 days apart. I gained 5.1 pounds. My lean body mass is 184.3, so it went up 3 pounds. My body fat is 20.4 pounds, so it went up 2. My body fat percentage is at 10%, so it went up 0.6, not a lot. My BMI went up 0.8, not a lot, irrelevant. But what is very interesting about that is I gained 5 pounds in 3 months, and that's kind of it's not normal, honestly, when you're been working out this long. So the fact that it happens shows that there's something regular in my training, or something regular that I'm doing, and I think that's important to point out. Like a couple years ago, I was really light. If you've been following for a while, I made an Instagram post of May last year about me bulking. I was 187 pounds. I posted that. Go check it out. But even before that, I was 182. And this was like in 2023. So over the course of a year, I've gained about 20 pounds, which is incredible. Like, I gained 20 pounds and I'm at 10% body fat. And so, one, you don't gain muscle that fast, not when you've been working out a while. So that tells me, like, I was starved, underfed. I was not eating enough to supplement my bodily needs. And 2022 was a hectic year. I started my business. Doing a lot of coaching, trying to get better, and so my priority was shifted. But color me shocked that I actually starved or put myself in that much of a caloric deficit to lose that much weight. I mean, I went down to 188, 182, and I'm not sure what I started at before that, but it wasn't that light. So I lost a lot of weight, and I lost fat and muscle mass. So that's just an important lesson. First of all, when you're cutting, you can lose muscle mass. So you need to be high on that protein intake. You need to try not to cut carbs back. Cut fats if you can, but keep your protein up. Cut fats if you can, and just be mindful of how you feel. Like, this is all easy to say in hindsight, right? But like, for the past couple of years, I felt like something was just off when I was lifting. But like, I didn't know if it was me. Like, I just started lifting heavy like in 2022, so the year before. And so like, you know, I'm relearning form, I'm going to heavier weights. I just ignored it really. But looking back, there's probably something wrong with me. Like, I was not eating enough. So if I was not eating enough to that point, probably my hormonal processes were thrown off. I probably wasn't getting enough fats. I probably wasn't getting enough carbs. So I wasn't able to think. I wasn't able to move properly. And I wasn't retaining muscle, so I definitely wasn't getting enough protein. It's probably safe to say. But all that's a long tangent to say, I gained 20 pounds in a month. I was making an error before. I'm working on fixing it now, right? Like I think I said before, I'm in the middle of bulk. And I want to put on muscle, obviously in size, but it's very hard to bulk, you know. It's sub 10% body fat, like with visible abs. You don't have any fat, like your body doesn't have anything to turn to muscle, to turn to that new mass. You gotta put, you know, you need the muscle, you need body fat to a degree, you need the muscle to be larger because the cross-sectional size of the muscle determines how much strength it can output. And so like being that skinny really limited my strength. And you can kind of see it now, like in my more recent videos, I'm starting to get it back. So like even in hindsight, I'm wondering if that's what went wrong with my bench. Like I lost so much weight, it kind of makes sense that my bench went down. I'm kind of surprised my other lifts went up. I've heard people talk about how like the other lifts are technical, so that could have been it. I was working on that technical skill, they went up. Bench went down, wow. So lost a lot of weight, gained it back. The plan is, I said I'm at 10%, I still want to bulk, so I'm getting at least to 15%. So I gotta gain another 5% body fat. And if I'm at 10% and that's 20 pounds, cut that in half, 5% of 20, or half of 20 to get that 5% is 10 pounds. I gotta gain another 10 pounds. I gotta get up to about 215, 214 to be at that 15% body fat. Now, I was watching some videos, doing some studying the other day, and Boris Shaiko, a really famous powerlifter, hope I didn't get that wrong, he makes a chart talking with heights corresponding to like your weight. And he talks about how your weight should not necessarily end where it begins. Once you put on all that muscle, because muscle is denser than fat, you should obviously gain more weight as you progress in weightlifting and lifting whatsoever. As you put more muscle on, that goes to show that like, basically like for my height, 5'10", it's around 240, 230. That's like, so I still have about 40 pounds of a margin of weight that I can look to gain, to put on muscle, you know, at least naturally without any of those exogenous compounds. But I still have 40 pounds of muscle that I can put on, which is really exciting. You know, people say you kind of cap out, you hit your genetic potential of lifting after 5 years, but I think that's BS. Like, in one way or another, I've seen myself progress in lifting beyond these 5 years. I'm lifting for 10, so like the game doesn't stop after 5. And like I've gained a ton of muscle. When I first started, I was running cross country. I was 160 pounds in 11th grade. So right now, I gained 44 pounds. And like, this is not the first time I've been this high. I was at 215, around 210, like later that year, like 11th grade, I was, 160 or whatever. And then senior year at the end, I was around 215. So like, it's not the first time I've been up that weight, but this is the first time I've been at that weight and been that strong. When I was this weight when I was 17, yeah, my squat was trash. My bench was almost approaching 300, so that was high. My squat was trash. My deadlift was trash. I didn't practice farmer's carry. I didn't have the bodily awareness I do now. I wasn't able to do, weighted chin-ups with 90 pounds. So it's very exciting to be coming back up on that weight again, but to be a lot stronger this time. My body composition is so different than when I was 17 and was, this chunky. And so to be this way again and to be this strong, super exciting. Now to get back to these InBody scans, because I think it's important if you have the ability to get that, because a scale tells you one number, but you need one of them advanced scales and one of them advanced testing measures to tell you how much muscle do you have, how much fat, are you actually gaining muscle, is your training working? And my training is working. I can definitively say my training is working. I'm putting on mass. My numbers have been going up. Like they stagnated a couple years ago, but we are on the up and up again. And that's normal. You hit a plateau, you find new techniques, and you go around that plateau. What else? Skeletal muscle mass is up. These InBody scans tell you your hydration level, so that's very important. The hydration kind of goes in a range. I'm not even going to explain it. You know what? It's like the ECW/TBW range. Mine is 0.365. They go from like 0.360 to 0.40. It's a little complicated. It's not my area of study, but you can look that up. Mine is like the average for an athlete, but I still want to work on being better. You always want to improve whatever metrics you can. That way, when you hit a plateau, you're like, hey, I know what I'm working on. Here's what I can go at. Hydration's good. Oh, a funny thing is my non-dominant arm. I'm a right-handed person. My left arm has more muscle than my right arm for some reason. My left arm has 12.10 pounds of muscle, while my right arm has 11.97. But my right leg has more muscle than my left leg. So that's always interesting. Left hand, my non-dominant hand is stronger than my dominant. Silly things. But yeah, I gained 20 pounds in a year. I gained 5 pounds in, since January, so 3 months, 90 days. I'm gonna keep trying to gain that 10 pounds. I'm very excited to see where I end up, and I know my lifts are gonna keep going up from here. Thank you guys for watching so far. Stay tuned because these lists will keep going up. That means I'll keep giving you guys useful game, useful bulking information. You know, like, I'm pretty good at bulking and cutting, you know. I've had some trouble with it in the past, but there's always tools in the toolbox for when you're struggling. So if you need help bulking, if you need help cutting, just leave questions below. You know, we gotta gain this weight, we gotta gain this muscle mass one way, guys. Stay strong. So here's one of my earliest gym pics, you know, full throttle. You can see how small my arms are. Delts non-existent. Shoulders are slightly there, a little bit of biceps. Here's another angle, still no shoulders. Still very, very skinny. No triceps. Arm is flat. This next one's a little interesting. It's me stuffing down eggs. I think one morning before school, when I was like 16, I still hate eggs to this day. Still hate them. And this is me from 2022. And this is when I was still very skinny. As you can see, very skinny. But hey, having fun on the chin-up bar. You can see my muscular definition. Pretty ripped in this photo. Just fooling around here. Just fooling around. Skinny boy! And lastly, here's me a couple of days ago. Normally a lot thicker. You look at those arms, man, where I started, where they are now. But a couple of days ago, this is a video that you guys haven't seen yet, so stay tuned for it. I'm making something. I'm making a piece of equipment. But still, back to my body. A lot more definition. Even got some back striations going on there. Legs are a lot thicker. Overall, a pretty good transformation from where I started, boys, and we still got a lot of room to grow from here. Lots of room to grow from here.